Okay, so you, Winnie and Rebecca, could you guys do something on the homework?
Yep.
Perfect. Any problem? Anything you want to ask me about it before we get started here?
It's fine.
Could you model all the walls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And doors?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So, in today's class, we're gonna continue learning some basics about modeling in Revit, and we will, if we have time, we will go back and try to do the homework project. For those of you who couldn't do it, and also those of you who could, can just take a closer look now. So let's say
we cannot see the screen.
oh yeah, sure, give me 1 sec. Share it right away. There, you should see it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody sees it?
Yeah.
Okay. So just a quick recap from Tuesday class. So the homework that I left you guys with was just to repeat the same steps that we went through during the class, but this time I wanted you to use a new CAD file that I brought for you and try to model that drawing in Revit. Just for this time, just the walls and the doors. And then I told you what height the walls should be, and kind of like just the door sizes that we have, how you could identify it, and so on. So, but for now we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna go back to the other project that we worked on in the class, so that we can keep learning some new things, and then, like I said before, if we have time, we'll come back to this and try to do it from the beginning with you. So for today's class, we have our topic would be creating and working with families, kind of like a continuation. That's something we did already last class. But we are also going to start working with levels and do some other visibility tasks as well. Okay, so I'm going to open up the project that we were working on last time. So if you guys can please open up that project again. It is, you know where it is, right? Everybody knows where to find it. And you guys in Ottawa, you should be using the one that you created during the class, if you have it in your computers. If any of you doesn't have that project, the one of the little apartment there, let me know and I can put it on Skype as well. Is everybody okay then?
What's the name of the file?
Well, I don't know if you named it anything different. We just have it as project 1 still. And what I'm gonna do before starting the class today, and you guys please just exit that project for a minute, because I'm gonna rename it. Right? So if you want, just please get out for a minute. I'm just gonna rename the file, and let's name it apartment project. Okay. So let's do something here, guys. I'm gonna upload it into Skype as well, and please just download it for now, and then just use that one for now. Okay, so it's uploaded now. Please just download it into your computer and open it once you have it there. Everybody here in the classroom, it's ready?
Yeah.
You open the new one?
Yeah.
Called Apartment Project?
Correct. Which one? The apartment?
Apartment Project. Yeah, it's in the same location. I just renamed it. It's still in under class resources, class number 3. Okay, Ottawa, do you all have the new file?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Where can we find the file?
It's in Skype. I just uploaded it.
Where can I find it?
Well, if you go to that blue symbol at the bottom
Okay.
with the red dot.
Apartment project?
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. Just open that one up in Revit, please.
I have my own version, is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, if you created a last class and you still have it there and you can use it, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Just keep using the one that you used before if that's okay with you. It wouldn't be a bad idea if at some point you rename it to match the name I have here, Apartment Project, just in case, just to avoid any confusion in the future. Because we might be still using that for a while. So, I mean, if you wanna just get out of it a minute or just save it as and save it as with the new name, that's okay. All right, so let's get going here. Then, first topic or first activity here in the class today would be creating and modeling a new family. So if you guys remember, we can only create component families, right? So system families, we're not able to create them. We are only able to modify them in our project. But component families, we are able to create them from scratch if we wanted to. Okay? Now, for this project, because last class we really couldn't insert any window, we are going to create a window family that we can use in this project for this apartment, right? So, and to create a window, we have something in Revit called window templates, and it works the same way as a project template. So it's a starting point to start creating a new family. Because we're going to be creating a window family, of course, we want to use a window template family, right? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go oh, yeah, sure. I don't know. Okay. So we're going to go to the application menu, the big R at the top left corner, and we are going to say new. So click on the arrow, display all the options for new, and select family. When we do that, we are required to select a template, right? In this case, is a family template instead of a project template. And we are gonna select a template called window with trim. Okay. Can you all see that template, guys?
Yeah. Yep, I have that ready.
Perfect. So select that template and hit open. So everybody has the new family open?
Yep.
What's the family called? Anybody please tell me. What's the name of this new family that we just created or started? Remember, always on the top of your screen, it's going to tell you the name of the project you're working on, whether it's a project or a family. So in this case, this family is just called Family 1 because it's just a generic name that Revit assigns to it, right? But again, we can, of course, save it as the name that we want. And what we are going to do is we first are going to save that family. So we're going to go again to the application menu, Save As, Family, and then we are going to save it. You guys in Ottawa, you will save it in your computer somewhere. And you guys here, for now, just save it with like this. We're gonna say window. The name is gonna be I don't know, window or EHTC window. Let's say EHTC window, and you guys put just dash your name on it, just to avoid confusions here. Okay, so EHTC window. And you can save it probably in your desktop, anywhere. Don't need to save it really in the, or yeah, in your desktop is fine. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Okay, everybody, it's done with that. Okay. So now this family has been created and it's in your computers, right? Saved somewhere. So let's start creating the actual window. So the first thing we do, it's to actually change the units in this family, because most likely the template that we use was a metric template, and if you remember, we're working in an Imperial project, so we want the window to have the same units as the project, right? So to change units, again, we go to the Manage tab in the ribbon and click on the project units command. And then, well, luckily this one is Imperial already. But if it was metric, we just have to come here, right, and change it to feet and fractional inches or whatever. We can actually set this one up to be fractional inches if you want. It's probably easier to work with just fractional inches in a window. So let's make this one fractional inches. And the rounding, let's make it to 1 1/4. Okay? So if you notice now, those dimensions are on your screen changed from 0 feet to 0, or 3 feet to 36 inches. Like the width, it used to be 3 feet 0 inches, now it's 36 inches only. And that's the difference between fractional inches and feet and inches, okay? All right, so The next thing we want to do here is model the window frame and glass. Right? Like any window, we need a frame and of course a pane of glass, right? Unless it's just could be a solid window, but we're gonna just create a window with glass, right? And to do that, we're gonna use something called extrusion. So here we're gonna go under the Create tab here in the ribbon, and in this tab is where we find all the commands to build families, to actually model the families, right? So if you see here under Forms, in this group of commands here, we have a few of them, and they can all be used to just model whatever you're modeling, whether it's a window or anything else, right? So let's start with the basic, which is extrusion. But we gotta make sure first that we are on the correct view to model this window. And right now, who can tell me what view we are on? We are on a floor plan called ref level or reference level, right? And that means that we're looking at the window from above. This is like a floor plan, like I explained before. So it's a horizontal cut through this family, and now we are seeing here in blue a wall, and then this area here that's kind of white, it's the opening for that window, right? So the template already comes with the wall and that opening where the window is supposed to be, because any window creates an opening in a wall, right? So that's already included in the template. We don't need to worry about that. But if we went to a 3D view, for example, let's go to view 1 here on the 3D views. Now you can see, and you can spinning around and anything. So that's the wall that I was talking about, and that in the middle is just the opening where the window would be, right? And we also see this, which is just a trim on the exterior side of the wall. And it's just a trim because we selected the template called window with trim. So that means that we already have a trim there that we don't have to worry about. If we wanted to have trims on our windows, the trim is already there. But as you can see, we don't have window. So we need to create a window. Now to create this window, using the command I told you before, the extrusion command, we want to go to the exterior elevation, which means we're going to be looking at the window from the outside of the building, right? So we go to that exterior view, and now we see again the wall, and we see the opening in the wall and the trim, right? Now let's start creating our window here. So it says we're going to use the extrusion command, and we need first to set the work plane in the work plane menu to the reference plane called center front to back. So before we start creating an extrusion, we need to set here, again under create menu, we need to set the plane that we're going to be using to work. And then when we hit that command, we have here this list of different planes that we can use. And in this case, I want you guys to select the one called center front to back. And that means that the plane that we're going to be working on, it's a plane parallel to the wall, actually going right through the middle of that wall. That's why it's called center. And it's again parallel to the wall. So we're basically looking perpendicularly to that plane. So anything that we draw in this view, it's going to be drawn on that plane, right? So now that we have the reference plane set up, I want you to go quickly back to the reference level floor plan. and I want you to see which reference plane I was talking about. And it's this one here that I have highlighted for you. You see, the name displays here, center front to back, and it's, as you can see, it's right in the center of that wall. Then we also have 3 other planes. This one is called right, this one is called left, and this one is called center, but in this case, left to right. Okay, and then also notice this text here says exterior and this one interior. That means that this side of the wall is the outside of the building and this side of the wall is the inside of the building. So because we are on the exterior elevation, we're going to be looking from this side of the wall towards the window. Everybody clear about that? I need you guys to understand this because that's the only way we can know how to start modeling a family, right? So remember, we're going to be standing, say, over here, looking at the window from the outside, okay? So let's go back to exterior elevation, and then let's get started here. So again, select extrusion command under the create tab, and now let's just draw the frame of that window. Okay? So like we had for the walls, we have here multiple options that we can use to draw anything that we are modeling in Revit in this area here. So like same way as we had for walls, we have the line option, we have the rectangle, the polygon, the circle, arc, and so on, right? We have the peak line as well. So all those are options that we can use. Now, our window would be rectangular, of course, to fit in that opening that we have already. So I want you to use, in this case, the rectangle option. Select the rectangle option and draw a rectangle from one corner of the opening to the other corner. So you click first on the one corner and then click for the second time on the other corner. And then you have a rectangle already, right? And now, remember we are creating an object. So if we just left it like that, we will have just a solid rectangle. But that's not what we want, because we just want to model the frame of that window for now. And the frame is just kind of like the structure of the window that goes on the outside of the window. So let's draw another rectangle, a little smaller, inside the first one, like that. Right?
Does it have to be specific or just whatever?
Just draw anything for now, and we'll take care of that later. But for now, let's just draw that. So that question, it's very useful, because whatever we draw here, it's what's gonna look like. So we might actually draw this with some real dimensions. So if you selected one of these lines, you see some dimensions appear here. So that means this line that we drew, it's like a weird number. It's almost like 2.5 inches from the top of a window. Let's make that number. If you click on the number in that dimension, you can change it, and let's make it 2 inches for now. And we'll do the same with the other 3 lines. We'll put them all at 2 inches from the perimeter of the window. Rebecca and Winnie, you guys following me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Any question?
No.
No?
No.
Perfect. Just let me know, okay?
Yeah.
So now we have those 2 rectangles, and the smaller one, it's just 2 inches apart from the bigger one, right? Good. So now that could be the shape of our frame, right? Are you guys happy with that? Okay, that could be just the frame of the window. But there's one more thing that we need to specify here to create that frame. And if you look at the properties panel, again, this is where we control everything in Revit. You see these first two parameters here called extrusion end and extrusion start. So remember, we are creating an extrusion, right? So that means that this extrusion is going to start at 0 inches from the work plane that we specified before, which is also here. And it's called reference plane, centered front to back. So in relationship to that plane, our extrusion is going to be starting at 0, so right on that plane, and going all the way to 12 inches. So basically that means that frame is going to be 12 inches thick, right? You guys understand that?
Yep.
Simon? Sure? Okay. But I would say 12 inches for a window frame is too much, right? Because we will need a very thick wall to be able to put that window in. So my presentation here says that we want to have the start of the extrusion at 0 and end at 2 inches. That means our frame is going to be only 2 inches thick. So let's do that. Let's change the end of the extrusion from 12 to 2. Everybody? No, you have to make sure your cursor is there.
Yeah.
And then change it now. There. You can hit enter or you can click outside, anything. There. So everybody, it's up to this point.
Wait.
Sorry?
I don't know what's wrong with my Revit, but they just they set my units to millimeters again. So let me change that.
Really?
Yeah, everything's kind of messed up.
Well, okay, let's just leave it as how many millimeters do you have in the extrusion end? Here on the properties. Look at the screen. What number do you have here?
Let me check. Sorry.
Hello?
I have a really weird. No, I changed it to feet again.
Oh.
I set it back to feet. So.
Well, okay, but are you creating the extrusion for the frame or not?
Yes, I do. I'm doing that.
So you are at the same point where I am right now?
Yeah, sort of, but the units mess up. So.
Okay, no, but I just want you to create this frame here.
Yeah, I did that.
You did that?
Yep.
And what was the extrusion end that you used?
250. Right now it's 250.
250 millimeters?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's about an inch. So
Okay.
yours is a little. Oh no, sorry, 250. It's about an inch. Oh no, never mind. That's too thick. No, 250 is like 20 inches actually. Okay, don't worry about that. Just leave it there. So the rest of you guys, if you have 2 inches there, now we're good to finish editing this frame. And then I want you to go over here where it has the green check mark, and you click on that, and that means we're going to finish modeling this frame, right? So click on it, and the frame will show up there. So now we have the trim that we had before plus the frame, right? Let's go to a 3D view quickly and take a look at it. See it there? You guys see it on my screen?
Yep.
Do you have the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
So you sorry, the one that had
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I don't have to say. I have sent a trim projection equals 1 on my window.
Sorry, you don't. What did you don't have?
I have a 3D wheel, and there is something on the window. A logo, I think. Trim projection equals 1.
No, but we're not working with a trim projection for now. Did you create the frame? This blue frame that I have in my window? You created it?
Yeah.
And does it look like the same as mine?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure what's going on there with you.
There is a logo on the window.
The what?
I cannot cancel it.
Okay, sorry, I'm not sure what's happening with you, Kai. Do you want to try that again?
Okay.
So just try go again to extrusion and start drawing those 2 rectangles, and in the properties there have 0 for start and 2 inches for end.
Okay.
And let me know when you're done, okay? So the rest of you guys are all good with the frame for now? So who was the one who had the 250 millimeters? Hi?
Maybe Jason. Jason have that problem.
Jason?
Mm-hmm.
Hey Jason, can you hear me?
Mine is in millimeter as well.
Yours is millimeters as well?
Yeah.
So your frame, how does it look like? What does it look like? Is it like the one I have here in blue?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I think mine is like solid in the middle.
Solid in the middle.
Yep.
But that's probably because you didn't have the 2 rectangles. Did you draw these 2 rectangles?
Oh no, I made a mistake.
Oh, okay. So to fix that, select the frame, like I have it here, on the elevation view, on the exterior elevation. Select the frame and go up here to edit extrusion. And then you can draw again. And just make sure this time you draw the 2 rectangles with the interior one 2 inches from the exterior one. Okay?
Okay.
And when you're done, click on the green check mark again. All right, so let's repeat this step to create now the glass of the window, right? So what we're gonna do, go back to create another extrusion, right? Now this time we are gonna draw the glass, which is gonna be a rectangle inside the frame, right? That's what a window looks like. So, but this time, instead of just drawing the lines for that rectangle, we're gonna use the pick lines option over here. And we're gonna pick the lines of that frame that we modeled before. And every time you click on one of those, make sure you click on the little lock symbol, which will appear as unlocked. When you click on it, it will appear as locked. So what that means is that that line is gonna always follow the other line that we're picking. So if I change the frame to a different size, the glass that I'm creating right now is gonna follow that frame and it's gonna become the same size, right? If you don't do that, then you could change the size of the frame and leave the glass smaller, which doesn't work for a window because the glass has to be completely like in the whole area inside the frame, right? Otherwise we'll have rain and wind coming in and we don't want that. So we're gonna pick the 4 sides of the frame and always lock that new line to the frame, okay? And that is something very important to do when you're creating families, especially. Because you want this family to be able to change, or you want this window to be able to change in size, but you want the glass and the frame to change at the same time, right? And that happens with any other family on the windows. So now we have the 4 sides of the new rectangle for the glass. And in this case, we don't want that glass to be the same thickness as the frame because it'll be too thick and I guess it wouldn't work. So the glass is gonna be thinner than the frame. So the frame was 2 inches starting at 0. My glass now, it's gonna start at 0.75 inches or 3/4 of an inch, and it's gonna end at 1 1/4 or 1.25 inches. Now, who can tell me what's the thickness of this glass now?
0.5.
Sorry, say it again.
0.5.
0.5. Correct. It's going to be 1/2 inch thick because it goes from 3/4 to 1 1/4. Right? Perfect. So we're going to finish to edit this rectangle, and now we have the glass there. If we go to the 3D view again, we'll see that we have the frame and we have the glass. See that? What happened? Yeah, you have more than one line there. It's telling you can't have overlapping lines. When you're sketching in Revit, you can't have one line on top of the other. So basically, you just need to have 4 lines for the 4 sides of your rectangle. And let me just make a quick run to the washroom here, guys. If you want, you can try to do that over again, or you can edit the frame. If you want to probably make the frame. Let's now, as an exercise quickly, let's edit the frame. So you basically select the frame and go to Edit Extrusion at the top here, and change that frame to be, instead of 2 inches, make it 3 inches now. Okay? I'll be right back. All right, how did it go?
I cannot select the frame.
You cannot select the frame.
What I did was select a single line, which I locked before.
Uh-huh.
I can only select them one by one.
Okay, let's go back here quickly.
Okay.
Let me just first see if the guys here could do it. Did you guys do it? Yeah. So now go to the elevation and show me. No, you do it. Give this red cross. Okay, now take a quick look here. This line moved. So I just wanted you to change this one to 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, but let me just try that. Okay, just close that if you want. How about you, Jennifer? Okay, so let's go back here.
UK Kai.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello Kai, you can hear us, right? Can you speak right now?
She was hearing before.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you have a question?
Oh yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I have tried a lot of time and do
Okay Kai, what we are going to do, we are going to make you as a presenter, and you can share your screen with us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are presenter right now. You can share your screen with us. Alright, so Kai, you can click here and share your desktop. So we will see your screen and help you, whatever question you have.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Someone started sharing, which ended your presentation. That's okay. There we go.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. Okay, Kai, we see your screen here.
Can you see
Now, if you don't mind, go to your on the left of your screen, the project browser. There, and go to Elevations. Just click, yeah, there. Now, go to Exterior. Good. Okay, so there was the wall and the opening that I told you before about. So, what I want you to do is to go to the Create tab, exactly. And then select Extrusion, right? But, okay, well, draw the rectangle first. Go. Right? Click again. Perfect. Now, draw the second rectangle. All right, good. So now, go to the top to where it says Set with a blue rectangle. to the right. There, set. Click on that. And then from that drop down menu there, select the reference plane called center front to back. There. Perfect. Hit OK.
Yeah.
Okay. And now on the properties, change the extrusion end to 2 inches. There. Perfect. And now you can click on the green check mark at the top. Okay, perfect. Now go to the 3D view. No, well, yeah. Okay. If you zoom in, you will see that frame that you just created there.
How about the picture in production here?
Well, don't worry about that for now. That's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just leave that there. We're just creating the frame for now, and then the glass. Right? So now you are going to do the same to create the glass. Like I did here before. Okay,
Sorry, I didn't follow you. What did you say?
Well, now that you have the frame, we need to create the glass. And then you're going to go back to the exterior elevation. And then follow the same steps. Go to create, extrusion. Yeah. And then draw the rectangle inside the frame.
Which one?
Yeah, just draw a rectangle from that corner to the opposite corner. Like that. And then in the properties, change the extrusion end or the extrusion start to 0.75. Well, that's the end. Yeah, that one changed to 0.75. And the end to 1.25. Close that window and type. You have to leave your mouse in that window there, and now type 1.25. You're getting out of the there. You got to stay there and type 1 there. Perfect. Now, okay. Now you can click on the green check mark again, and you'll have that glass shape there.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where we are at right now.
Okay.
Everybody's on that same spot, right? Okay. So I'm gonna go back to share my screen, okay?
Okay.
And now all right. So everybody see my window again, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So here we have the glass, and we have the frame, and we have the trim. Alright. So the next thing we're gonna do is change the type of this window to be 30 inches wide and 60 inches high. And we want to rename the type to reflect that new size. So how do we do that? Here at the top of the screen, under the Modify tab, or under the create tab, or yeah, either create or modify, we have this command called family types, right? If we click on it, it displays the types of that window. And right up here it says type name, and there's nothing in there. That means we don't really have any type. So to start, we are going to create a new type. And that is the button to create a new type. You click on that symbol and you type the name, which we said needs to reflect the size of the window, which is going to be 30 inches wide by 60 inches high. Okay? So type that name in there and hit OK. So now we have the first type. You can see it now that it shows up here. But like we did with what was it that we did last class? Do you remember, wall or something? We don't do anything with just renaming the type. We need to actually change the parameters. And what parameter do we need to change now? The width and the height parameters. Right? You see here, we have height and some other parameters, and we also have width. So we want to change those two to reflect the new size. So the width will be 30 inches and the height will be 60 inches. Please do that and let me know when you're done. All good? Okay. But I want to create another type right now, and I want you guys to do it by yourselves. Create a new type and call it 24 by 48 and change the size of that new type.
So is it like 24 by 48?
48, yeah. That means 2 feet by 4 feet. So now we have two types, right? If you click on that top window there, you'll see the two types. And if you switch from one to another, you can see that it changes the values in your parameters. Okay? So now that we have the two types that we need, we're going to say, okay, we're done with that. And we'll go back to the elevation view. And notice now that the window changed its shape. Right? Now, what we're seeing here, or what I'm seeing, is a 24 by 48. But if I changed to the 30 by 60, see what happens? Right? So those are the two different type of windows that I can have right now. All right? Is everybody okay with that? Okay, Winnie, we just created new types for that window.
Okay.
We created two types with different sizes because we need different sizes, right? So one of the type was a 30 by 60 window, and the other one was a 24 by 48 window. So let's go now and okay. So we did this already. So now that we have all the types that we needed for that window, and the window is complete because we have the trim, we have the frame, and we have the glass, we are gonna load that family into our project. into the apartment project. And we go here on the modify and select this command called load into project. Or we can select the one called load into project and close. If we don't want to work anymore in this family, we can pick the one called load into project and close. And that way we're closing at the same time. So let's use that one. And then it's going to ask you whether you want to save it or not. And you're going to say yes. And now that window, it's in our project. And we can use it to create this apartment. And right away, it's available here to be inserted. But I'm going to just hit escape for now. And we'll see how to insert a window now. So we can insert the new windows the same way we did with doors. Or we can also use another method, which is dragging the family from the browser. So the first method would be under architecture, selecting the window command. Remember last class we used the door command? This time we're going to use the window command. If we hit that command, we have a window that when we move our mouse to any wall, you're going to see how the window shows up there, and then you can insert it. So let's insert this first window right here on top of the one in the CAD drawing. Okay? Like this. You just click on there and there. Now you see there is a window there. Everybody's following me there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So adjust the location of that window. Like for example, Jennifer doesn't have it in the right location. So you can select it and move it like we did with the doors. When you select it, you can either use the move command and move the window, or you can use the arrows on your keyboard like that and move it until it goes to the right location. So now make sure that window is right there where I have it. So the end of the window, it's basically flush with this other wall here. Okay, Simon is okay. How about you, Winnie and Rebecca?
Oh, which one? Yours is like 24 by 48.
Yeah, we're gonna insert the 24 by 48 in this case.
Okay.
Because this is the one that matches what we have in the CAD file, right? Okay? So let's do that again, and let's now insert the 30 by 60 window. Use the window command again, but this time, actually the one that I used before was a 30 by 60. Excuse me.
Okay.
So let's use now the other one, the 24 by 48, and let's insert it here, down here. Doesn't matter that it's not the same as in the CAD file. Let's just put it in there. And okay, so when you insert a window, or when you select the window, you will see these two little arrows here, and that is just to flip the window. If you hit it, you see how the window goes like closer to the inside, and you hit it again and it goes closer to the outside. It's just changing what side of the window goes on the outside, or vice versa, right? Don't worry about it for now. You can just leave it any way. It doesn't matter. Now let's try inserting a window, this time going to the browser the project browser, going to families, all the way down to Windows, and now you see here there is a new family called EHTC window, which is the family that we just loaded. So it's already here, and if we expand it, we see the two types that we just created before, right? So now let's select one of those, the 30 by 60 say, and hold your click down and drag it onto your project and release the click, and then the window becomes available to be used. See? And again, you do the same thing. You put it in the wall that you wanna and click again, and it goes in there. So let's put a window somewhere here in this wall, and let's put another one on this wall here by the front entry. Okay? Who has any question? Do you all have the 4 windows now?
2, 3. I put them on the spot.
It doesn't really matter where you put the windows. I don't care about that. I just want you to insert those windows into your project, okay?
Yep.
You can put the windows wherever you want. It doesn't matter. All right, so let's see what this apartment looks like now with the new windows. And let's go to the browser and let's select the front elevation that we created last class. Open that view, and now you can see a window there, right? So if you look at my screen for a moment, you will see that only the frame and the glass are visible there, but not the trim. But for example, Jennifer does see the trim, and Simon does too. So in my case, I'm not seeing the trim because I didn't flip the window to have the exterior side on the exterior face of the wall. And that's what the 2 arrows that I showed you before are for. These 2 little arrows, if you go to the floor plan again, and I click on them, and I go back to the elevation, now I can see the trims. Like on the elevation, if you select the window and you hit the space bar on your keyboard, it does the same thing. See? The trim disappears and comes back on. That's just switching the orientation of the window in the wall. You're flipping the inside out and the outside in kind of thing, right? So you can do it from the elevation using the space key on the keyboard, or you can do it from the floor plan using these 2 arrows, or also using the space bar. Doesn't matter. Okay? So let's make sure now that all the windows are facing, like the trims of the windows are on the exterior of the building. And to make sure of that, the first thing I want you guys to do is to create a 3D view, because we don't have any 3D view in this project yet. So let's go to the quick access bar here at the very top of the screen on the left hand side, and this little symbol with a little house, that's to create a 3D view. If you click on that one, it creates a 3D view automatically, and it shows up in the browser as well over here under 3D views, right? So now you're looking at that apartment, and I want you to spin it around and make sure all your windows have the trim on the outside. Like for example, this one, I don't have it correct, so I need to flip it. So I press the key, the space bar again, and go. Right? So now all my windows have the trim on the outside, which is what we want. right? Already. So,
How do you rotate it?
how do you what?
Rotate it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I guess I didn't explain that. When we are on a 3D view, like this one, if we hold the shift key down and hold the scroll on your mouse down and then move your mouse, it rotates that thing. See? Try it.
Yeah, but it's...
Do you have the shift held down?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, that's correct. See this symbol here? That means that you can spin it. But yours, are you in a 3D view?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're doing it. That's fine.
But how am I gonna...
Well, you can use the scroll to zoom in and out, and like let me try here. So like see, if you move your mouse up here, it does that, right? So you can keep doing that until you go to the angle that you want, right? Just like that. Okay, everybody's able to move that apartment around like I'm doing here?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. So now let's select all those 4 windows. So to select multiple instances or elements, you can hold the control down, and you see on your cursor here a plus sign appears. Then you can start clicking on the other ones, and it will select all the ones that you click. So right now I have 4 windows selected, and I can know here on the properties because it says Windows 4. So that means I have 4 windows selected, and now I want to actually adjust the location of those windows because I think right now they are a little too low. So in the properties there are 2 parameters. One is called seal height, like we had for the doors, remember? So the doors, we said we wanted them at 0 because we wanted the door to be right on the floor. But windows are different. So in this case, we want the windows to have a head height of, let's say, 8 feet or 9 feet or maybe 8. Let's do 8. So you type in 8 in the head height parameter. And then all your windows go to be at 8 foot at the top. 8 feet from the level, remember. From level 1. Okay? Are all your windows at the same height now? They should be, right? No? Oh, what did you do there? Alright, let's see. Yeah, try that again. Just select the 4 windows. Well, if you select something that you didn't mean to select, instead of holding the control down, now hold the shift down, and it's the opposite. Instead of adding, it'll subtract that. Okay? Now you have the 4 windows, and you have the level, it's level 1, which is correct, but the head height, change it to 8 feet. Remember. That's inches. So we all know what symbols we use for feet and inches? No? Okay, guys, look at my screen here. If I want to type 8 feet, I need to use this symbol, the little tick, which is the key next to the enter key on your keyboard. And if I want to type 8 inches, I have to use the one above it, which you have to hold shift and then hit that key. And that is the inch symbol, which is 2 little ticks. The feet symbol is 1 little tick. So there's a big difference there. If you want to type 8 feet, make sure you put the correct symbol. Okay? So now you got all your windows on the proper height. How about everybody else?
Yep.
Everybody has the windows at 8 feet from the level 1?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah? How about you, Kai? You good?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I think if you want to stop for a break now, I think it's a good time. Is that okay?
Yep.
Or you want to keep going? It's up to you.
I think it's okay.
What do we do? A break? A little break? 15 minutes?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll be back here at 10 after 9, or 10 after 10, 8, sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. Any questions here? You guys have all the 4 windows there? Yeah? Okay? Yeah, that looks good. So you know how to put feet on. Yeah, but you know how to type the inch symbol and the feet symbol?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, you too, right? Yeah. Good. So yeah, we still have to go through a lot of things here today, so let's make sure we take 15 minutes only, okay?
Sorry. So the height
Yeah.
is from the top of the window.
Sorry, what?
The height.
Yeah.
Height. Is
Head
it
height, that's the top.
Okay, but still height is from the top.
Exactly. The seal of a window or a door is the bottom.
But if you cite these 2 heights, like the height of the window is fixed, you set both of them.
So if you change one of these two, the other one is going to change too, because they are dependent on each other.
Oh, okay.
So you can change either,
Okay.
and the other is going to change. But normally in a building, you have all the windows at the same height at the top,
Oh, okay.
just as a general rule,
Okay.
right? So that's why I like to use the head height. So I make sure all of them have the same height at the top. But if they're different in size, then some of them, the sill will be lower than the others. Like this one, the sill is a little higher than this one, right? But that's okay. We need to make sure that the tops are level, the same height. That's how we build in real life.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Like, if you open the project and the family at the same time, how do you switch?
Okay. You go to view, or here, for example. You have everything that you have open there.
Oh,
So right now you only have the apartment project. But you can open a family, for example, and it will show up there too. And you can open a different project, and it will show up in there too. So there you have everything that you have open at the time, all the views actually. All right? Yeah. We'll see that over and over, and you guys get more familiar with that. But yeah, it's a little tricky. I don't know.
因为我觉得这个比例是比较好，你毕业照拍我说是没有照，对，我觉得这个比较好，就比毕业照照，然后毕业照没人。但我们毕业照超难看，对，就是比我们第一届的就是你高一届他们照，他们这个打特别好看，我们就这个直接就是平面才能看，就是感觉没有问题，就没化妆的照。哇，这才6个，我们照超。今天是最后一天了吧？1、2、3、4，我也想买，但是我想买，我也买，我想买整个 package。你可以买一张1到5包。啊。都不行，我那就把它发，好好发一下。 你爱喝水吗？
你可以。阿尔法，Ursa 年龄那个 Elsa，你 Ursa 还可以，Ursa 和 Elsa，可以啊。
你想买哪个的吗？全买。
差了50块，差了3张。
你是买那个迪士尼？
我看那个选那种，就是有那种特别清晰的位置，到这儿那个。
How's the temperature in the room? It's good. Okay, are we ready to start again here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is that Jason?
Yep, that's me.
That's me.
Good. Oh, where are the rest? Joey, Leon, and Kai, you there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I guess we're just missing Joey then. Let's give him one more.
Here. Here.
Oh, Joey's here. Okay, perfect. So everybody's ready. Let's keep going here then. So now we have all our windows and doors and walls in this little apartment here. Let's see what we do next then. Oh, I know what we're gonna do next. So, as you can see on this 3D view, our walls right now are showing that pattern of a brick or blocks, right? But I want to change those walls to have a different material instead. I don't want them to be made of bricks or blocks. So what we're gonna do is we are actually going some steps back here to the previous class, and we're gonna select one of the exterior walls, and we are gonna edit the type to change the material of that wall. And let's see what material we can use. So let's just select one of the walls. And right now we have two different type of walls here, right? We have the exterior walls that we created in the previous class, which is called exterior walls. And if we have one of those walls selected and we right click on it, there is a command here called select all instances. Can you see that? Then we can select all the instances visible in this view, or we can actually select all the instances in the project. So sometimes this one, it's a small project and we basically see everything in this view, but we could have a way larger project that we're not able to see all the walls, let's say, in that project. So that's how we can select all the walls in the project. It's by going, like, right-clicking on it and then using the select all instances in entire project. And that way we make sure we're selecting everything, even when we don't see it in the view. But if we want, we can select just the ones visible in the view. So for now, let's select all the instances in the entire project. And now you see that all the exterior walls become blue, which means that they're all selected. And again, in the properties panel here, it tells us that there are 13 walls of that type. Okay, so for the exterior walls, I'm gonna leave them with the brick material. So if we edit the type of those walls, and you can remember from last class, in a wall we need to edit the structure of the wall to change its parameters. So if we click on the edit button here, we see that the material that is applied right now to that wall, or to that the only one layer that we have right now, which is a structure, the material that is applied to it is a concrete masonry unit. And you remember in last class we changed the thickness to 8 inches. So for now we're gonna leave that as is, because I like the exterior walls to be made out of concrete masonry units. But now let's do a selection of the interior walls. So we're gonna select one of the interior walls, and this type of wall is called generic 6 inches masonry. Again, let's select, well, we don't need to select all the instances in this time, because we're gonna change the type, which will apply to all the instances. So by selecting just one wall, we should be okay. And we're gonna edit the type, and first we're gonna rename it. Let's rename it to interior walls. So you guys saw what I did, right? You go to rename here and then type in the new name, which is going to be interior walls. Hit OK, and that's a new name. Then we're going to edit the structure again, and this time, instead of concrete masonry unit, we will apply a different material. So we click on this little box here with the 3 dots, and it opens up the material browser. It's right here. This is a material browser, and here we find all the available materials in this project. And this time, let's select what material should we select for this one. Let's say, because this is the structure, let's say these walls are made out of wood. So let's try to find a wood material, but we don't have any wood material. So what we can do is actually go over here in this arrow, and then we have access to all these libraries. So these are all libraries that come with Revit, and each one of them contain multiple materials. So if we open the wood library, now we see a lot of wood materials. Do you guys see all those materials?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah? Let's select the softwood lumber. And hit OK. And hit OK again. And we go OK again. And look what happened to the interior walls now. We're not showing that brick pattern anymore.
Sorry, but all of the walls have been changed.
Yeah.
All of them.
All the walls that are the type interior walls.
No,
and
but
that's what we.
All of the walls, like including the exterior walls.
Oh, well, that's because you probably didn't create the exterior wall type.
Okay.
Probably right now you have all the walls the same type.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna have to go back and just select exterior walls one at a time, holding the control key down, like I'm doing here.
That's a lot.
And once you have them all selected, you have to go to Edit Type and say Duplicate, and then call it Exterior Walls, right? And then under, in the Structure command here, you edit the structure and change that to concrete masonry units.
Alright.
Yep. And make sure you also change the thickness to 8 inches.
Okay.
And once you do that, you hit OK, and all those walls should change to the one type with the brick pattern on it. Are you done?
Yep. I'm good.
Yeah?
Yep.
So now you have the 2 different types?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So everybody's the same, right?
Yeah.
Good. So that's one way of changing the material of those walls. Now let's do the same procedure with the doors now. Let's select one of the door, whichever, I don't care, and do the same thing. Edit the type, and this time, because it is a door instead of a wall, this is a little different. We don't have the structure. But we still have a group of parameters here called materials and finishes, And here we can actually change the material of those doors. And there are 3 different materials. There's the trim material, the frame material, and the door material. So let's change the trim material. So here where it says value, there's that little box again. Click on that little box, and let's change it to anything really that you want to use. I'm gonna use see what we have here. Aluminum. Let's change that trim to aluminum. Hit OK. Now we have the trim material displaying aluminum here under value. And for the frame, we'll do the same thing. Let's put the frame as aluminum. So we scroll down using this bar here. We search for aluminum, click on it, and hit OK. And now we have aluminum and aluminum for the trim and the frame materials. And we're going to leave door panel as a door material. Hit OK. And that's it. Now all my doors have aluminum and on the frame and the trim, and door panel on the door. If we go down here to the view status or view styles, and we click on the cube there, which is called visual style. Let's change the visual style to consistent colors for a minute.
Wait, what should I change the door for?
The door?
Yeah. What should I change it to?
Where?
No, what should I change it to? The material.
Of the door?
Yeah.
Leave it as door panel.
Door panel? Okay.
Yeah. Is that the one that you have there?
Let's check. Where can I see it?
Yeah? Okay. So we're gonna change the trim material and the frame material to aluminum. And we're gonna leave the door material as door panel. Now in your model, you should see the door that we selected before, that's now showing the trim as a white color. But the door itself stayed as a kind of like a brown color. So that's because we changed the trim to aluminum. And aluminum is displayed as white, and the other material is displayed as brown or orange, whatever that is. But only in my case, only one door changed, because that's the only door of that type called 24x80. But if I want the other doors to change as well, I need to go and select one of those other doors, which is the other type, 30x80, and do the same thing. Change the materials again to aluminum. And now this other type changes as well. You could see now that 2 of the doors changed this time, because those 2 that I have selected here are the same type. So remember, when we change a parameter in a family type, it will change all the instances that we have in that project of the same type. Okay? But if you notice here, there's still one door, this one, which is I would say the front door or whatever. It's still showing the trims as a brown color. So that means that one hasn't been changed to aluminum. And we can do the same process again. Go to edit type and then change those materials to aluminum. And you can actually, for changing materials, you can just copy the material, Control C, and paste it on the other one with Control V, and it works the same way. Perfect. Okay, now all our doors are showing the proper materials. There we go. See? All right. So next, we're going to use a different way of applying materials to a model. In this case, we're going to use a command called paint. So what that means is that we are just going to apply a paint to any component of the project, whether it's a wall or a floor or a roof, but it has to be a system family. We cannot apply paint to component families. So how do we do that? We go to the Modify tab in the ribbon, and we find a command called Paint over here. Right? So we click on that command, and then we need to select a material that we want to apply. And what I want to do is apply a material called paint. Hopefully there's one. No, there is no paint material, but let's just use the damp proofing material for now. Or maybe let's just go to the libraries again here, expand that, and go to paint and open the paint library. The only paint that we have right now is parking stripe, which is okay. Let's just use that one for now.
Sorry,
Select
I
that
have
one. Sorry?
I have the different tool from you.
Yeah, maybe because, I don't know, maybe you're using a different template. I don't know, or maybe, what Revit version are you using actually?
2018.
Oh, okay, that's probably why, buddy. Because we're all using 2017. So you might have different libraries.
Alright.
But it doesn't really matter. I just want to show you how to apply material as paint. So pick any material that you want.
Okay.
And then just select it here in this window. And then go back to the model. And now you can see that every time I move my cursor over a wall, it shows that wall in like a blue contour. That means that if I click my left click there, it's going to paint that wall with that material. So what I want you to do is paint all those interior walls on both sides with that new paint material, like I'm doing here. See? If I click on that wall, paints that wall with a blue yellow parking stripe. So let's do that for all the walls. Just the two sides. Don't worry about the top of a wall or anything like that. Okay, so I'm done here with mine. I painted all my interior walls with a yellow color. Once you're done, you can click on the Done button here in the material browser, and you're out of there. Alright, so let me explain something here quickly. This way of applying material with a paint, it's an easy way, let's say, because we don't have to be changing the type of the walls. And this material that we just applied, the yellow thing, it's going to appear in any, let's say, material takeoff that we do of this model. So it actually works. It's an actual material that's being applied to the model, and it can be quantified, meaning it can show up on any material takeoff that we do. So is the lumber material that we applied in the type. So both materials are quantifiable. The difference is that like the yellow one, it's gonna be, let's say if we wanted to know the area of that paint that we're using, like how many square feet of that paint we're using, it's gonna show like the area of both sides of the wall, because we're painting both sides. But with the other material, the lumber one, if we did a takeoff, it's actually going to show just one time the area of the wall, because that other material is part of the structure of the wall. So that's basically the big difference here between applying the material as a paint or applying it in the structure of the family, like the wall. Okay? Now, let's give it a try here at painting a door. So if I go again and select the paint command, and I try to paint the door, see what happens? I can't really paint the door. Because like I said before, it's a component family, and component families cannot be painted in general. Okay? So we can only paint system families, like walls, floors, roofs, ceilings, stuff like that. All right. So that was just a quick overview of materials. And again, later on in the course, we're gonna go back and do more stuff with materials. But let's just leave it there for now. And let's keep going with our exercise today. The next thing I want to do is changing the visibility of components within a family. So we have the new window family that we created today, and that family, like we saw before, has a trim, right, in the perimeter of the window. Now I want to make that trim so that I can control whether it shows or not, because maybe I don't like the trim and I don't want to put a trim on my windows. So I want to make that trim be able to show off or to show or not in my window. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select one of the windows, and this time, instead of editing the type, I'm going to edit the family. Do you guys remember how to edit a family from the project? Speak, Jennifer. Don't be shy.
Just right click it?
Yeah, you select the family and you right click on it, and then there is a command called edit family. But there's another way of doing that, and it's going to the browser again, on the windows, select the window that we want, which is EHDC window, and then right click on it and again say edit. No, you can't select the type, you have to select the family. See here? My blue thing here, it's on the family, not on the type. If I am on the type, I'm not able to edit the family. I'm just able to do things to that type, like change the properties. But this time I want to change the whole family. So I'm going to go to the family and then right click on it and select edit. And what happens is that we go back to the family editor. So we're no longer in the project apartment. Now we are in the EHDC window project. And Simon, if you go to that window I showed you before, at the top here, and you click on it, now you see that we have 3 views open for the apartment project and 1 view open for the window family, right? That's how you can switch from one to another. So on the window family, let's select that trim. And then in the properties of the trim, we see a little, we see one command with a little box next to it, which is called visible. So every time that box is checked off, it means that that component, in this case the trim, is going to be visible. If we uncheck that, my trim is not going to be visible when I load it into the project. Let's give that a quick try. Let's load the window now. I mean, make sure you uncheck the box first. And let's load the window. Do not close, just load into project. And you're going to be prompted whether you want to override the existing version or you want to override the version and its parameter values. So as a general rule, every time you load or reload a family into a project, you want to select the bottom one because you want to change the parameters, because we just changed the visibility parameter for that trim. So if we selected the top one, we're not going to see what we just changed, because we're only overriding the version of the family but not the parameters.